Hi there, Chris from Learning Every Day, and I'm back again in the home office here. It's about 11 o'clock at night, surprisingly, and I'm just here to share another tip with you. And this kind of pulls together two of the recent videos I've done, and also is reference to a blog article that was written by someone called Catherine Poole. And it's about a VA, it's about virtual assistants and how they can help you with your business, and especially with anything to do with content marketing, in a massive way actually. So I'm going to just share with you what I do and what I've been doing and what I feel works for me, and hopefully that will work for you as well. And I'm going to share with you the apps that I use and how I make use of a virtual assistant. And I've used a couple before in the past, but I use Catherine a lot. In fact, I use Catherine the most for the things that I do, and sometimes I use her a lot, sometimes not so much, but I'm getting back into the habit of this. Reference the video I did with Chris Ducker, the 3 lists, which are to list the things that you shouldn't be doing, the things that you hate doing, and the things that you can't do, and then being able to outsource that stuff to someone else who's much better at it than you. And in some cases that would be a virtual assistant, someone who is perhaps a generalist. But in the case of Catherine Poole as a virtual assistant, I get her to do a lot of transcription work. So I'll give you some examples of that. So what I used to do a lot in the car was I used to dictate a lot. So if I was writing an ebook, or if I was trying to put together some blog articles or just collect my ideas, I would use my dictaphone in the car, and then I'd come back home, I'd take the SD card out and I'd pop it in my computer, and I'd just drop those MP3 files into Dropbox, and they would sync with Catherine. Catherine would get them eventually, and then she would type them all up, pop them back into Dropbox for me, and then they would be there for me, and then I'd have a blog article ready to go. It was 90% there. I would just have to top and tail it, put an intro in, maybe put in some conclusion stuff, maybe tweak a few things, but that was it. It was just transcribed audio, which is great for blog articles because blogs are brilliant when it's your own voice that's speaking. So they always say, you shouldn't outsource your content writing, depending on what it is. But one way to get around that is to dictate your content. Now, instead of doing the dictaphone, coming back to the office, taking the card out or plugging it in with USB, what I do now is I don't know where my iPhone is actually, but I actually do it all on Evernote now. So Catherine and I share an Evernote notebook. So all I do is actually use my headphones when I'm in the car, or you could use a hands-free kit, and you just go into Evernote and open up a new note and click the little audio button and just make sure it's in the shared notebook with your virtual assistant, and it just records your audio into there. It drops an MP3 file right into Evernote. Catherine then will transcribe it into a document, pop it back into Evernote for me, and it's all in there, all in the same place. So Evernote's a great application to use for dictation, believe it or not. So I use Evernote a lot for that, and that works out really, really well because it's all synced and we're together and shared in that shared notebook, which is fantastic. The other thing I do with Catherine as well is like this video was a great example. So I'll have this video transcribed by Catherine. It's probably only going to be 4 or 5 minutes long. Catherine charges something like, and this is at the time of this audio being recorded, so don't use this against for our prices or anything like that, but it's about £1.10 or £1.20 per audio minute, and it really depends on the type of transcription you're getting done. But I want this transcribed directly so I can put it onto my blog page beneath the video, because it's great for SEO, as Catherine mentions in her article, which I'll link to in the blog for this as well. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly pop the SD card for this into my computer, top and tail it. The MP4 will go up onto YouTube, but it'll also go into Dropbox, into a folder with Catherine, and she'll then transcribe that when she's got a sec. I'll then just copy and paste that text out of that document and pop it straight into my blog, and that's it done. Now I could take that a step further if I wanted to, and have absolutely nothing to do with WordPress at all, and get a virtual assistant to do all of that for me too. But that's on my list of things to do. But that's just an example of what I do. So we use Evernote to have a shared notebook there. So I just dictate directly into Evernote now, and Catherine will pick that up and then she'll type it up. This video will go directly to Catherine through Dropbox. I probably will do in the future as well, depending on the situation, drop audio into Dropbox as well, and that just syncs directly with Catherine. Whenever we've got an internet connection, it'll just download straight onto her computer, and then she can just transcribe that in her own time, and she gets back really, really quickly as well. Just try to check. So really what that allows me to do, so if you think about the 3 lists that I talked about with the Chris Ducker video, the things that you hate doing and shouldn't be doing and can't be doing, and then think about the whole trying to minimize emails as well. So there's no emails go back and forth between Catherine and I. It's all through Evernote or through Dropbox, which is great. The only thing I get from Catherine by email is an invoice, right? So there's that, and I think that it really sort of brings those sort of elements that I've been talking about together. So have a think about that in your own business. Think about your content creation. Your blogs. If you're writing blogs, you could dictate a lot of that. If you're doing video just like this, you can just outsource it to Catherine and she'll transcribe it for you. If you're just trying to generally collect ideas, it doesn't cost a lot of money. It's not a huge amount of money we're talking about here. But it's these things that can save you a lot of time. Catherine she's got the tools for transcribing stuff. I wouldn't even, I had an intern working for me during the summer. In fact, I had 2 people working for me in the summer. And one of my options was actually going to get her one of the girls to transcribe it for me. And I didn't do it because actually they would be really slow at it and it would take up a lot of time. Catherine's really quick at it. She's got the hardware, and that's what she does. She's just great at it. So my advice would be to actually think about how you can use your 3 lists, your hate doing list, your can't do list, you shouldn't be doing list, and start ticking some boxes on that and get that outsourced to someone like Catherine who can actually help you to get more done and to save you time. But it also helps Catherine too, because that's her job, that's her business, and it puts more work her way as well. So it's all good. It's a win-win. So that's my tip for today: using a virtual assistant and ticking off some of those boxes on those lists as well. And also, which I love to do, is minimize emails as much as possible. So I hope you enjoy that tip for today, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Don't forget to be awesome.